Hey everyone, this is Matt from the Bronco Nation, and today we're going to be talking about this. Now this is a rig that was built by Ford Performance, and they've added a lot of custom bits and accessories onto it. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't look very stock. So we're going to run through, do a walk around, and show you everything that it has to offer. Now this Bronco is an Outer Banks Bronco, so we do have a gloss black grille up in the front. And normally the letters in the front would be white, but as you can see here, they're actually body color matched. And this body color is rapid red. Something that Ford added was a matte black wrapped hood. Now this matte black hood that Ford added acts to cut down glare, kind of like how a baseball player would put on eye black below their eyes. So when you're driving down the road, the hood's wrapped black, it cuts down the glare that's actually reflecting up and into the windshield. Looking at the bumper here, we have the Ford modular front bumper. Something that we noticed is the tow hooks are actually body color painted as well, so it's a cool little feature there. And then we do have the signature lighting that we find on the Outer Banks model. You know, I've got these trail mounting points on the hood like we see on every Bronco. Again, you can mount anything on those, whether it's like a CB radio antenna, a GoPro, limb risers. I think the aftermarket's gonna show us what all you can do with that, so we're pretty excited to see. Now making our way to the side of the vehicle, we have a lot of bits and pieces that are added from the Ford catalog, as well as some aftermarket pieces that were thrown on too. So normally the Outer Banks Bronco is gonna have color matched fender flares. Unless it is a Sasquatch package, then you get those molten color plastic black material fender flares. We do have some aftermarket additional fender flares that are added, and these are by Air Design, and they are actually available in the Ford catalog, so you can get these along with your Bronco. And we do have some aftermarket wheels and tires as well. These are 17-inch method wheels. They're in a nice bronze color. I said this kind of reminds me of Iron Man with the bronze and the rapid red. And then we also have some 33-inch Mickey Thompson Baja tires. And so again, these are not what you're gonna get with the vehicle. You can't get these from Ford, but we think it looks cool to throw them on there. Looking up here, we also have some lighting accessories that have been added on. So these rigid lights that are added to the accessory mounting points are available from the Ford catalog. You can get these with your Bronco. And we do have a light bar up top. This doesn't reflect the one that you would get in the Ford catalog, but you can order a rigid light bar. I think it's a 40-inch curved light bar that goes up top. So now making our way down the side here, we have a couple of pieces that were added. We do have some rock rails that were thrown on here. These were finished in a bed liner material, so when you would get them from the Ford catalog, you normally wouldn't get that bed liner material. And we also have some rocker cover panels here, and those are again available in that Ford catalog, and that'll protect the body when you're climbing in and out of the vehicle. You know, you don't want to get rocks that scratch those up. Now obviously we don't have the doors on this Bronco, so you can kind of see through. It's really enjoyable on a nice day like today. And we do have the soft top also, and this is a best top twill soft top. And so it does fold back. It does operate a little bit differently than the soft top that you would get with a Bronco. And we're gonna show you a little bit about that here in a second. But first, let's come around the rear of the vehicle. Again, normal Outer Banks here. We've got our signature lighting as well. Same rapid red color, silver pony here on the rear. And then the same 17-inch method wheel mounted to the back. We also do have that Bronco tailgate tow hitch. Yeah, I guess it's a tow hitch cover. We heard that adds 5 horsepower, so make sure you pick one of those up and throw it onto the rear of the vehicle when you get your Bronco. So looking into the rear here, I'm gonna open this up. This is a pretty cool feature that is available also in the Ford catalog. It's a rear cargo organizer as well as a security drawer. And so we see here we've got this really sturdy metal box that it's actually bolted into the rear, so it's not gonna slide around or anything. And then we do have these tie down points on top. So if you wanna tie down cargo, it has a picture here of a cargo net, so I imagine you put a cargo net slide underneath whatever you need. Then you can do that. It'll keep everything secure in the rear of the vehicle. And then we also have this slide out drawer. So if I press this button, this drawer will slide out, and this feels really sturdy. This is really heavy, obviously made of very strong and durable metal. And then we've got these kind of dividers in here. There's a couple different areas so you can put in whatever you need, whatever valuables you have if you're out camping or anything like that. Secure them away. And there is a locking mechanism on here, so you can lock that. No one's gonna be able to break in and steal whatever you have. Another cool point is that it says Bronco on here. It's cool to open up the rear of the vehicle, see Bronco, have that on this security box. Now obviously we've got this best top, fastback, soft top back on the vehicle, and you can see it's got a cool kind of fastback style to it. I think this looks really cool. All right, now making our way onto the interior, one of the first things that you're all probably gonna notice are these seat covers. These are not the stock seats that are in this Bronco. They're actually a roast leather color underneath. But Ford does offer these seat covers from their catalog. So these are a water resistant kind of durable seat cover that you can order to put over your seats. It'll protect them from mud, water, not waterproof, but water resistant. But protect them from the elements, especially if you've got the roof off and the doors off and you plan on having some fun. Now jumping into the rest of the interior, this Outer Banks does have the Luxe package. So we really do get a lot of the higher end features. You can see that we do have a 12-inch screen, which I love. I think it really sets off the whole dash, having kind of that huge screen where you can control your sync. So with sync you get Apple CarPlay, it's wireless, which I think is great. Android Auto, that is also wireless. Control your music, navigation, everything like that. There's a whole lot of apps. You've got your cameras on there, so all the trail cams. This Outer Banks does have the 360-degree camera. So we've got 2 on the sides and then 1 on the front and 1 on the rear. And it creates kind of that 360-degree view, which I love, especially if you do plan on going off-road. Having the trail cam features, it's huge. It really does help out. We've spent some time out here on the trails and it really is good to have. So we'll show you some of those features here in a minute. But aside from that, we have the grabber blue accents because this is an Outer Banks. I think it looks good. It depends on your taste, but that really is the only thing available with this trim level. And again, all these grab handles where you find those accents are removable. So we'll probably see aftermarket accessories that are available in that space as well. We've got our GOAT mode switch here. Nothing new. If you've seen any of our other videos, we talk about the GOAT mode switch a lot. That's what's going to let you change your drive mode, change kind of the selection based on what terrain you're going through. Like it says, GOAT means go over any terrain. So I think that's something that's pretty cool. We've also got the window control switches here in the middle. Those don't really matter if you've got the doors off. And so if you do take off the doors, you don't have all that technology, all the electrics in the doors themselves. That's here in the middle of the console. Now the Outer Banks does come standard with the 2.3 liter 4-cylinder engine and the 10-speed automatic transmission. As you can see, we've got that automatic transmission in this vehicle. And you also can get the option to get the 2.7 liter V6, which is probably what I would go for, but to each their own. Looking at here, we've got a lot of our different controls. So with the Outer Banks, we also get standard dual climate control, so controlling for either side. And one thing to note is that there is a good grip on these dials and they are pretty big. So if you do have gloves on, then it's still pretty easy to access these to change that. If you're in the desert and it's cold and for some reason you have the doors off, got your gloves on, then you're still good to go. So lots of controls here for the AC. Front seat heaters, which is awesome. Almost at seat heaters. And then the camera controls as well. So a lot of different things like that. And because this is the Luxe package on the interior, we do have a wireless charging pad down here on the bottom. So if I put my phone on there while I'm driving, then it'll charge. It's pretty awesome. There's also USB-A and USB-C port down there. So if you do need to charge another phone or don't have wireless charging, that's also a pretty good option. Another thing to note on the interior is that these are manually adjustable seats. So there is the option for power seats. These are not, these are manual, but they do have leather underneath these seat covers. So we do have leather, you can get that with the manual adjustable seats. So kind of to each their own. Again, if you don't want them, you don't have to get them. Looking up above, another cool thing is that there's actually a universal garage opener built into the visor. So I can connect this to my garage, and instead of clipping on one of those big, ugly garage opener controls, it's actually built in. So I've got the open close buttons there. These are just your normal sun visors, fold up, fold out, extend. Nothing new there. Looking up, we've got the auxiliary switches. These are kind of a hard plastic material. You can hook up, there's a whole range of accessories that we see for the Broncos that are coming out that you'll be able to hook up to these. But I think they're cool. It'll be cool to see what people do with that. And again, here we have our hero switches. These are kind of a rubbery material on the top of the dash, and they do have a couple different options for things that they do. Here we have the hazards, our traction control off, and then the trail turn assist button. But if we were to have Sasquatch package, we would also have buttons for our locking diffs. So kind of depends what you have on your vehicle, how you spec'd it out, but you have a couple different options on those hero switches. So another cool thing that we've noticed here is this actually does have a locking center console, and it doesn't use like a normal key because we do have the keyless start. So this is kind of like a wireless fob. Wireless, I guess you wouldn't have wires normally, but whatever. But there is a combination lock here, and so I don't know the code for that. If I did, I would be able to open it up and then you can access whatever you need. And that's really helpful. Obviously, we don't have doors on this vehicle. We've got the soft top on this vehicle. So, if you have things that you feel like are at risk or valuables that you want to stow away, then you can still lock them up or get one of those secure cargo carriers for the rear and lock up even more. But regardless, this is a pretty cool feature of the Bronco. All right, now diving into the actual screen, the technology piece, there's a couple different features that we have. First, we've got the audio, so you can connect to Bluetooth to your phone, auxiliary cord, USB, anything like that. I've got the FM radio here. Phone, add your phone, you can call people on the go, navigation, normal vehicle accessories and things like that. But features, we get into some cool features here. We actually have the trail turn assist, and so that's something I can turn on with this button up here. And I don't know if you've seen it in our videos, but if not, you should go check it out. Trail turn assist locks a wheel, lets you turn pretty much on your own axis. So, if you're in a precarious situation and you need to turn on a dime, so to speak, then you can turn on the trail turn assist and actually do that. Another cool feature is the cameras. And I talked about that earlier, but the cameras are really a huge part of this vehicle. And especially if you're taking it off-road, they give you a lot of edge in actually seeing what's going on. And so I've got, like I said earlier, 2 cameras on the side, 1 in the front and 1 in the rear. And it stitches those together to actually see a 360-degree view of the vehicle when I click that camera button. And I've also got trail camera modes. So I'll go up here and I can see what's directly in front of me. And so if I'm on a trail, the hood does sit pretty high in these. It's not very easy to see kind of over, especially if I'm rock crawling. Put this on, see exactly what's going on in front of me. It's very helpful. And I can also see what's in the front of me on the sides as well. And so if I'm, between 2 rocks, or if I'm kind of on the edge of something, then it's very helpful for me to be able to see what's directly there without actually looking out of the vehicle. And if I do have doors on, then that would obviously be more difficult to do. I don't have doors on, so I can just look out and see. But something cool to note, the mirrors, which are body color matched for the Outer Banks, are actually attached to the front A-pillar. And so they're not found on the door like they are on a lot of other vehicles, and therefore if I take these doors off, I still get the benefit of having those cameras on the side, having the mirrors to be able to see behind me, having, in this case, blind spot monitoring. So lots of benefits, even if I do want to take the door off and cruise around in the good weather. So now, using the goat mode switch on the Outer Banks, we do have a couple different options for drive modes. I'm in sand right now, which is the farthest to the right drive mode. So if I turn it to the left, then I get into mud and ruts. Turn it left another time, I'm on normal mode. So, everyday street driving, that's what I would use. Turn it to the left again, and we get to eco mode. Maybe that's what I would use everyday street driving, to be responsible. And then turn it left again, we get into sport mode. and then left again, finally we get into slippery mode. So, you know, sport mode for more performance, slippery if it's raining, and then mud and ruts, and finally sand. And that's what's available on the Outer Banks. And then also on this goat mode switch, we have features for 4 low, 4 high, and then 2 high. So the blinkers feel nice. If you turn them on, it kind of feels like it does on an F-150, to be honest. There's a lot of buttons here on the steering wheel itself. So things like controlling the phone, controlling music, voice, speech, and then, you know, up and down controls, the OK button, back button, menu button. And then on this side, we have all of our volume controls, as well as the cruise control set, and then increase, decrease. The feeling of these is nice. It's kind of like a rubbery material. It's not just hard plastic like you would find on a lot of steering wheels. It's a little bit softer to the touch, which personally I think is nice. The steering wheel is heated as well, so that's an option that I can turn on. Steering wheel feels nice. It's not too small, but it's not too large. I feel like it's a pretty good size, especially, you know, if you're doing off-roading. All right, now moving our way to the rear. Again, very similar to any other Bronco that we've done a walk around with. We've got this roast leather color on the interior. Personally, I think this is nice. It's one of my favorite interior colors. It's contrasted with this dark kind of grayish black color there. These seats angled upwards, so if you are sitting in the back, I'll actually sit in here right now. I'm 6 feet tall. I think this front seat is moved all the way back, and I've still got room, although not a lot. But normally, you know, if you've got a normal sized driver up front, I'm 6 foot, I fit pretty comfortably in the back here. Other things to note, we do have power ports here in the middle. So open that up, USB-A, USB-C, and then a 110 volt AC outlet there, which is very nice. We've been using that to charge some of our camera equipment. And so, you know, if you're out camping or doing something like that, leave the car on and you can charge whatever you need. It's pretty helpful to have. And then again, here in the middle, we've got the console center window controls. So those are not on the window, they're found on the center console. It's pretty confusing to a lot of people who get in these, reach to the door to put those windows down, and then don't find those controls. Now looking up here, we can fold down the headrest. There's just a button on the side that does that. Once I fold down that headrest, I can also fold the seat down, make a bigger, kind of flatter rear area. There's a lot more cargo space in here. These don't fold all the way flat. There's a little bit of an angle here on these middle seats, so it's something to take into account, especially if you're camping. But I know there are some brands that are working on, you know, sleeping pads, camping mats that do work great with these, even if they are a little bit slanted and do drop down in the rear. I think there are accessories for that, and we will be showing those to you guys in a little bit, not in this video. Here in the middle, we do have fold down cup holders. Those are nice to have. This could be an armrest as well. This is also adjustable here in the middle, that headrest. Pretty nice to have. And then also looking down, it looks like we've got kind of vinyl flooring throughout, but these are actually mats. So that's really great to have, especially, you know, if you have kids that are gonna be sitting in the back seats, you don't want them tracking in a bunch of mud and dirt. And so these have carpet underneath, and the carpet's still clean. And we've been out in the desert, and these mats are collecting the rocks and everything pretty nicely. And so you can take those out. They're pretty easily removable. It's all one piece here in the back, which personally I like. I've had cars where the rear are separate mats, and then, you know, it ends up getting dirty anyways. So one big piece for the mat in the rear. You know, you can take it out, shake it off, and clean it, and then put it back in. These seat covers too, cool thing to note is that you do get kind of like a molly grid on the back, this kind of weave pattern, and you can clip things onto these, similar to what we see on, you know, like the molly grid on the Badlands, for example, where you're able to clip things onto the rear of those seats. This is pretty helpful to have. Extra storage, you know, especially if no one's sitting in these rear seats, then you can attach things or secure them down to that. And so that's a cool feature that we see with those. All right, well, that wraps up our video on this Outer Banks Bronco that was customized by Ford Performance. We hope that you enjoyed it. I know that there were a lot of things in this Bronco that I enjoyed. maybe some things that I'll do if I ever get a Bronco in the future to my vehicle. Anyways, thank you for watching, and we hope that you enjoyed it. Make sure to stay tuned to Bronco Nation. Keep up to date with all the content that we have to offer you, and go check out our forums too. There's a lot more information on our forums than we put out just on YouTube. So, thank you, and we'll see you next time.